Hey guys, what's up? Jules here for WhatCulture.com with another episode of the most insane things happening in wrestling this week. The show that does exactly what it says on the tin in the most annoying way possible. You're welcome. Now, before we begin, I just want to say that as of next week, I'll be away. I'll be attending some family stuff that's going down in the Southwest, so I will get a guest to take over for me for 1 week only. Who that guest will be, haven't decided yet. Probably will be Phil. If not, Adam Nicholas. If not him, Adam Wilborn. If not, definitely not Cleary. Definitely not Cleary. Anyway, be nice to them, spread the love, and do all the things that you usually do. Be nice to them. I'll be checking up. What am I going to do? Not exactly going to come in the comments and beat you up, am I? That's what you do to me every week. Anyway, I've got my giraffes locked and loaded, so let's hit that intro. Right, so let's get the absolute shit out of the way first and talk about the absolutely god-awful segment with Bobby Lashley and his three stoogsters. It was god-awful. Now, in an effort to expose the truth behind the man, Big Bob, Sami Zayn dragged down, quite literally actually, 3 independent wrestlers in drag that were playing his sisters and interrogated them while they regaled the stories of Bobby growing up and how he was a bully. It was absolutely disgusting. Side note, if any of these independent wrestlers ever make it big, I will eat my fucking nuts. The material was awful, it wasn't funny, and the crowd was as dead as a Mojo Rawley push. But I think the worst and weirdest segment had to be this bit here when Francis said, and I quote, "Bobby would take his knuckle and he would hit me on the top of my head as hard as he could." That is so strangely specific that you have to wonder what Vince's childhood was like, because you know that he greenlit this story, because he's the only one that finds this funny. And he's the only one that still has a big hard-on for Big Bob. So yeah, Vince, is this a cry for help? I mean, it's fine if it is, but there are better ways to do it. And the most insane thing of this is that at the moment, financially, the WWE has never looked better. But in terms of quality, it's absolutely dire. They've been going on this week about how many TV deals they've got lined up and all these things, which I'll go into later. But if this is the type of writing that was on any other TV show, it wouldn't make it past the fucking pilot. Oh, Stephanie McMahon, how we've missed you. Much in the same way that Turkish gunmen missed the Pope John Paul II. In that they f***ing didn't. And that comparison actually between her and the Pope is actually quite apt, seeing as that she believes that she's holier than thou if this week's Raw is anything to go by. She started the show by undermining Kurt Angle's authority, basically inferring that he was incompetent. And then when Roman Reigns came out, she had a go at him for complaining and whining and then called him a loser. And then Kevin Owens came out and made the mistake of thinking that he was allied with her by trying to put his arm on her shoulder, which made her make a face that looked like a bird had on her. So according to her actions, we had an incompetent authority figure, we had a loser babyface hero, and we had a villain that we weren't meant to take seriously at all. So what's the f***ing point, Steph? Should we just go home now then? Why even have a show? And then we had the contract signing between Nia Jax and Rowdy Ronda Rousey, in which she played both of them like they were a pair of school children. She literally went from one side to the other saying, "Oh, do you know that she called you lazy? Oh, she doesn't think that you're competent enough to do this. She thinks that you're inexperienced and a novice." And at no point did these two women, who are meant to be the best in their division on Raw, they didn't do anything about it. They just sat there and took it like a bunch of f***ing mugs. There was a beautiful moment as well when they stood up and they were they faced each other, and I thought to myself, oh, they're going to turn and have a go at Stephanie McMahon because they've still got beef with her. Ronda more than Nia at this point, admittedly. They still got beef with her, and it didn't happen. My balls were as blue as my shirt. If I was a writer, I would have had them grab the microphone off of her and say, "Steph, shut the f*** up, you entitled, self-serving prick." At some point, she is going to have to realize that she can't just sell at WrestleMania. She's undermining all of her talent. And for what reason? To get herself over? You're the boss's daughter. You could just take that money and run to the spank bank with it. You don't need this. So you remember earlier on in the show I was talking about how the WWE were bragging about their new TV deals? Well, it turns out that it's Fox. Fox are the people who have bought out SmackDown. Well, sort of bought out. They're supporting it by giving it $1 billion across the next 5 years. That is $200 million a year for SmackDown. Now, I'm no mathematician, but let's break it down a little bit. Let's see what you actually get for your money. In 2018, what do you get for $200 million for SmackDown? Well, you get Daniel Bryan, who is a white-hot property, even though he's had a bit of a misfire in the last few things. Here's hoping that he gets the feud he needs to out of Samoa Joe. You get AJ Styles. That's also incredible as well. In fact, you get a lot of talent that are willing to do anything for the brand. So that's great. The talent isn't the problem. In fact, they've actually sorted out a fair few other things as well. They don't have the text on the screen that they used to, the annoying emojis thing. They've also taken out the top 10 list as well, and actually the dynamic of Daniel Bryan being a wrestler rather than an authority figure has meant the whole thing with Shane has just thankfully died, because that was never going anywhere. It looked like the two of them could never run a show because they were constantly squabbling. I mean, sure, they've not really got any women's stories going on at the moment. The entire division seems a bit aimless at the moment with Carmella as the champion, and if you tell me that Asuka versus Carmella is something to be invested in, I'll punch your teeth down your throat. Sorry, still a bit angry about Stephanie McMahon, but there's also the other problem as well that WWE Creative, which is also headed up by Stephanie McMahon, is also the danger zone, but that's more to the entire WWE. So the question is it worth $200 million? That I can't answer. However, we do come to a very interesting point. If they've got this amount of money to spend now, I better see at least one f***ing pyro per show. Please. You owe us that. Please. Now on to something that actually made me do a bit of a double take. So on this week's episode of Table for Three, which for some reason nearly always contains 4 people, Christian made fun of Jeff Hardy by basically saying that he's going to order him an Uber because he didn't want him to drink and drive, basically making light of the fact that Jeff has a real-life struggle in the past with alcohol and drug abuse. It wasn't smart, it wasn't clever, it was actually quite mean, so of course it was made into a storyline segment. Yes, that's right, Road Dogg Jesse James took one look at this and just thought, yeah, I'll pinch that, that's good. It's pretty much what I just do for Raw, but with another show now. I'll just use that as a strange segment between Jeff Hardy and Renee Young. Because when Renee had her little backstage chat with Jeff before his match, he definitely looked like he was taking a different sort of bump, if you know what I mean. He told Renee that he was really excited about his match with Daniel Bryan, and then he said, and I quote, that his synapses started firing up, which blasted neurons through his brain. Mate, it's not like you were fighting Sting at Victory Road. I'm focused, I'm fired up, and I'm ready to take flight, and off he went. To a loss, admittedly. So yeah, Jeff Hardy's back on the toot, confirmed, allegedly. So you know what that means?
Are you having a giraffe?
And now to end on a happier note. Thank God for Gedo and thank God for New Japan Pro Wrestling, because the junior heavyweight division right now is full of absolute mentalists that are actually going further than last year's Best of the Super Juniors. And it is lovely stuff. To kick things off, sausage roll lover Will Ospreay was wrestling in a style that could only really be described as video game wrestling. He literally had infinite stamina and infinite specials on. He was a force to be reckoned with, and it was bloody amazing to watch. Then Ishimori delivered a snap German suplex, which might well be one of my favourite looking moves of recent memory. Then Dragon Lee versus SHO Show basically delivered something completely different. It was an ugly, laborious and slow match that basically acted as a really nice palate cleanser for all of the flippy shit we'd seen prior. It was a grueling but really entertaining match. And then we got a weird moment with El Desperado in which he used a crowbar on his opponent's asshole. It was a totally weird moment, but I absolutely loved it. Popped large, this boy. Basically, it was a showcase of astronomic talent and allows me once more to gargle on the sweet nectar that New Japan provides me from its big, delicious sack. It's actually insane to think that this year is better, potentially, than last year's, and last year's was bloody amazing. I love it, you love it, Thank you, New Japan. And there we have it. Those are the most insane things happening in wrestling this week. Now to close out the show, the only way I know how, by reading my favourite comment from last week's episode. And this one comes from Connor Williams, who said, "The first time I watched Jules, I swore I would never watch his videos again. But I'm still here." That's what I do, mate. That's what I do. Daddy picks up the check and he pays it forward. I have no idea. I apologise. It sounds like you're ripping on me, but then you stuck around, so I guess that's good. I mean, you wouldn't be any dissimilar to any of the lovers that I've had in my life, just begrudgingly putting up with me until they die of starvation. A huge thank you to Michael Sidgwick, who is back from his paternity leave. Yes, he is back. The dad of WhatCulture returns, as well as Phil Chambers for their continued work on this show. And to you at home for watching, thank you so much. I hope you had a giraffe. As always, I've been Jules. You've been awesome. Swing by whatculture.com for more news and articles like this every goddamn day. And I'll speak to you soon. Bye.
So, thanks for watching. Please feel free to click on any of these things around my head, or something terrible might happen to the dog. Too sweet me, bro. Traitor. Traitor.